Working in customer support is never easy. Working in tech support, I can't even imagine. Welcome to this episode of Tales from Tech Support.
Our first one is from S. Jari. This happened many years ago, and over a period of 2 months. A new guy started in the accounting department. I shall call him Kevin. Kevin kept his browser bookmarks in a Word document and would copy and paste links to and from this document. I showed him how to make bookmarks in Edge, but he would forget how the moment he closed the browser. The Word doc method worked well enough, so I just left him alone. Our staff intranet is set as the default start page in Edge, so it opens when you open the browser. But when Kevin wanted to access the intranet, he would open Edge, completely ignore the page that just opened, and then copy and paste the intranet link from his Word doc into a new tab. He would often have 2 intranet tabs open whenever he called me over. By some miracle, he never typed Google into the Google search field. All desks have a universal docking station where monitors and other accessories are plugged in, so you only need to plug a single cable into your computer. For some reason, Kevin would unplug the mouse and keyboard receivers from the dock before he went home. Then he would call me the next day, because his mouse and keyboard weren't working. I explained multiple times that he didn't need to unplug them, but he kept doing it. I got tired of this, so I waited for him to leave his desk and plugged the receivers into the back of one of his monitors, where he couldn't see them. I have no idea why he kept unplugging them, but he stopped when he could no longer see them. Kevin needed some accounting software to do his job, but would always forget how to open it. I tried pinning the icon to the taskbar and showing him how to click on it, but he would call me the next day because he couldn't find the icon. So I came up with a cunning plan. He had no problem opening his Word document on the desktop, so I took a screenshot of the taskbar, added a red arrow that pointed to the icon, and inserted the screenshot at the top of his Word document. That solved the problem, until a few days later. He had somehow managed to pin another icon to the taskbar. He had pinned it to the far right of all the other icons, so they were all still in the same spot in the screenshot, and the red arrow was still pointing to the same place. But you see, now the taskbar had one extra icon on it, and therefore it didn't look like the one in the screenshot, so now he was afraid to click anything. I just updated the screenshot. He tried working from home, but could not figure out how to connect to his Wi-Fi. He brought a note to work with the Wi-Fi name and password, and I manually added it to his computer so that it could connect automatically when he got home. But of course, he also had to connect to the company VPN. We gave him a very detailed guide with pictures and stayed on the phone with him the whole time, but it was hopeless. He just gave up on working from home. These were the things that stood out. But Kevin called almost every day about other minor things. He was actually a really nice guy. He was always friendly, and he really did try hard to learn. He wasn't challenged in any way, and seemed very intelligent when you spoke to him. He was just completely useless when it came to computers. After 2 months of this, Kevin came to the IT office to deliver his computer. He thanked me for all the help and said he was going to pursue different opportunities elsewhere. I have no idea if he quit or was fired, but I do hope things went well for him. The thing is, it's gotta be very frustrating to be in a position where you just really don't know how to use the technology that's required to make that position function properly. And I don't know if he was fired or if he quit. I'm kinda hoping he realized that maybe it was just a bit too much and he did decide to leave the company on good terms. This next tale is by Scorpius187. To make sense of this story, I have to give an unfortunately long amount of backstory. A few months ago, we replaced one of our FedEx label printers because it was printing faded labels constantly over multiple boxes of labels. Everything was too light, it was basically unreadable. These are Zebra ZM400s, which are solid printers, but they're old as hell. The ones we're using have been in use since at least 2010. On my recommendation, we bought 2 updated versions of the same printer. We have 2 print stations, so I figured it'd be smarter to just go ahead and replace both. And I installed one of them at the station where the failing printer was. There were some minor issues, but everything got sorted out and was working fine. A couple weeks ago, the new printer started doing the same thing the old one was doing. The woman who is technically my boss has been on my ass to fix it, so today I finally gave in and followed her solution, which was to replace the printer because
obviously the new one you made us buy is broken, so we should just send it back.
It should be noted that my boss is the company's accountant, just an FYI. It should also be noted that while the warehouse guys were cleaning out some old equipment in the warehouse, they found an old label printer, like the one we had before, that was still new in the box. My boss has been trying to get me to use it ever since. So this morning, I configured the replacement printer to get it ready to swap in. Everything worked fine. Labels were dark and crisp and easily readable. I was testing it at a different station, so after I tested it, I moved it over to the station where it needed to be. Did a test print, and the labels looked exactly the same as they did on the broken printer, faded and unreadable. Swapped out the labels, everything looked great again. Turns out the box of labels was bad. Important note, these are direct thermal printers, so really the only part of the equation that should be a failure point is the labels. I already knew that, but nobody would listen to me until I proved it. It's almost like they think I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so I emailed my boss and let her know. This is word for word what I sent her. The printer wasn't the problem, it was the box of labels. Switched out the printer and had the exact same issue. Switched out the labels and everything was fine. It's not a problem with the printer, so I would like to keep the new one we've already unboxed since it's working fine, and send the one we haven't opened yet back. This is the exact response I get back.
Good to know. Curious, did this help to make the order numbers more legible?
No, it didn't. I'm just telling you the problem is fixed for the fucking hell of it. Like, what was she expecting to see? 2 printed labels as comparison? These are the old labels, these are the new labels, these are from this printer, this is from that printer. It's like, if you have somebody assigned to do a job, trust that they're qualified to do it unless you start running into problems, which clearly the OP didn't. And our final tale is from David Gray Photography. This'll be medium, apparently, as there's not really that much to it. I worked with a guy, let's call him Steve. One day Steve asked me if I'd be interested in doing out-of-hours paid tech support for his dad. I said sure, as I've done it before and it was good beer money at my rate of $50 AUD an hour. One night, I meet Steve at his parents' place and he introduces me to his dad, Bob. Bob is a really nice guy but doesn't know much about computers. Bob is a big history buff and loves to research World War I and II soldiers, and also his own family tree. He'd been hitting up those find a grave sites and had downloaded files scattered everywhere. He wanted those cleaned up and some hard drive space reclaimed because it was running out. So I do those things, and before I leave, he asks if I can quickly log into a site he's been on before and find a grave of a soldier he was related to. No problems, so I ask which site, and he instructs me to open the Word document he's got sitting on his desktop. So I do. This is the Word document from hell. It's literally several hundred pages long and contains everything. Usernames and passwords for various sites, email addresses and contact details for friends, family, businesses, acquaintances, and so on, receipts from the war records he's purchased online, emails he sent and received to various people, instructions on how to use the software, instructions on how to change the channel on his TV, everything. I stared at this document, the scroll bar getting smaller and smaller as Word opened the document. Bob then says to me, "The link is about a third of the way down. Keep scrolling." So I start scrolling. Eventually he says, "Stop, go back a bit." And I go back about a dozen pages. We find the website and I click on the link. We then go back into the document and he says, "Alright, now scroll up." So I do. About halfway back up to the top, he says, "Stop!" And we scroll around until we find the username and password. We're navigating this document the way a country boy gives driving instructions. "Now keep going till you see a red barn with 3 cows in the field. Turn left there, then keep going. You'll get to a place that sells chicken feed, so go past there. After that, it's an old rundown place with a white fence. Turn right there and you'll see it after you pass 5 silos." We log in, he buys the record he wants, then asks me to copy and paste the confirmation page into the document. We scroll down further into the Word document until we find a chunk of document dedicated to receipts. We paste the confirmation somewhere in the middle, and then I download the record as a PDF and put it into a folder, which was properly named and organized, which was surprising. I did about 2 to 3 more tech support sessions with him, and each time we delved into the Word document, and I scrolled through what felt like 100 years of this guy's computer interactions. After that, I tricked a coworker into taking the job. "Hey Juan, you want to make some money doing tech support for Steve's dad?" "Yeah, sure." Juan came to me a few weeks later and just said, "What the fuck is up with that Word document?" I just laughed. I completely understand wanting to be organized and keeping all of your things in one place, but I feel like a Word document is the least productive way to go about it. I mean, if you want to keep everything in everything, at least do it in like a spreadsheet or something, because then you at least have tabs you can flick through, you can label them and know exactly where you need to go. But I'm glad even with that massive document, tech support was able to be provided. Alright, that's enough tales for the day. Well, that wraps up this episode of Tales from Tech Support. If you liked the video, please drop a like, share my content on all of your social media, subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure to hit that bell so you're notified every time I upload, and drop a comment down below. It really helps with the algorithm and helps new people find my channel. Thanks for watching, thanks to my patrons and super thanks contributors. Have a great day and stay safe out there.